We're talking to Attorney at Law C.J. Williams. So, please. Ms. Williams, it's a pleasure having you on The Observer this evening. How did things play out today? I know it was expected a mass deportation of Venezuelan migrants were expected to take place today. Please give us an update.
Well, so far today there was no mass deportation. However, our information is that it is scheduled to happen sometime next week. However, we believe that through our active persuasion, successfully defer any sort of mass deportation today if that was indeed the case. So now it's just a matter of a process, and we wait to see basically, like what will the government do? What's next on the government step? Because the government knows the current position of refoulement, non-refoulement, those principles. The government knows about the international interest in human rights matters in Trinidad and Tobago. So the next step basically is what shall the government do next?
Well, that's a bit. I mean, when you look at it, and I want to talk from the perspective of citizens in this country who may say, "Listen, what concern is it to us whether or not these people are deported, sent back?" I mean, really and truly, tell us, because there's so many human rights as far as policies that are tied up in all of this. Give us some clarity as to where exactly we'll be stepping if we step in the wrong direction with these issues.
Okay, fine. No problem, sir. So let's look at it. So we are a member, for example, Trinidad and Tobago is a member of the United Nations, basically, right? A member state of the United Nations. That means that the UN's funding is available to our country, basically, when it comes to the court system, when it comes to green climate control policies, every single thing. Everyone knows that the United Nations funds a lot of stuff in your country. So we must, if we're taking money from the United Nations, basically, or from the Secretary General office, then it is with the expectation that we shall fulfill our international mandate. And if it is you, just to break it down, if I have a worker and I'm paying a worker to do something, and that worker is taking my money and causing harm and stress and further abuses contrary to the instructions I'm giving the worker on what to do with my money,
right,
then I may then decide it doesn't make any sense I have this person as my worker. It doesn't make any sense. I might want to cut off the person because of the effect it might have on him and his family, but then I may wish to simply give the worker less money. So in the international world, it's the same thing basically. That that if we don't follow our United Nations mandate, especially when it comes to issues of migration, it can have a socio-economic impact on our nation, where our funding or access to funding may be hindered, and then that affects the middle class first and foremost, and the lower class first and foremost also. So two social classes in the country will take a hit.
We did have, of course, at one point, Justice Sipasa declared that the 1951 Refugee Convention obligations do not apply and cannot be enforced in this country, meaning that all immigrants are subject to the provisions of the Immigration Act and can be deported even if they have registered with the United Nations High Commissioner of Refugees. Is that correct?
Well, what I would say firstly, which is talking about that decision, I would say that the Immigration Act of Trinidad and Tobago, it doesn't make any provision for the term or the terminology refugee. Secondly, whilst that decision may be like that, what I do know for sure is that there is a decision of the Honorable Justice Rampersad. Hold on, let me see the name. The Honorable Justice Divine John Rampersad, that on the 19th of April 2022, he basically said that persons who were detained, similar to this position here, they were ordered, due respect and due regard was shown to the 1951 Convention. Those persons were released pending the determination of their refugee status and pending also the determination of a minister's permit. So we have, and I would like to call it like chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
So we have two totally distinct decisions, but our case has primacy, meaning that the jurisprudence in our case, basically. In our case, the state appealed it up to the Court of Appeal, Senior Counsel Mr. Farid Hussein, but they withdrew that appeal.
Okay.
Therefore, as far as I'm concerned, yes, there's a lot of football about, like that decision by Justice Tipasar.
Right.
But that will just be because of a knowledge gap of information and what is placed in the public domain.
And like I said, this is a very sensitive issue. I mean, people on the ground, the average citizen may not understand. And again, from their perspective, it would be like, what does this matter to us? What does it care? But tell us, do the bureaucrats who are involved in these ministries, do they understand that we can have a serious geopolitical black eye if this is not handled carefully?
Sir, you want to go black eye? I say probably 2 black eyes. That can happen. But I would say, at least in my nation, in Trinidad and Tobago, I've said it once, I've said it twice. Whoever is giving advice in human rights in Trinidad and Tobago to the government, they are simply advising the government wrong. Because there wouldn't be all the smoke if there wasn't some sort of fire. And even when there is smoke or fire, what do? Do we try and they can't put a sheet over smoke to cover it over. You must see what is the cause of this fire? What is causing this fire? And that is where it is. They must look at their policies over the past 2 or 3 years, see how many allegations of human rights abuses. Remember, we had a baby who died.
Yeah.
He has a Coast Guard. That's also one of our cases. We have all these other allegations. So therefore, I would say that there is a knowledge gap of those persons who are prescribed and or ought to be more informed of our obligations globally.
But many of these individuals do not function outside of the system. Let's take, for example, within the TTPS. Do police officers understand those basic rights? Do they understand how they will have to, facilitate people who fall under the fact that their rights are being taken away from them? Because it seems a bit challenging when you have to go to the station, you make requests. Sometimes you are denied even seeing your clients and what have you. So the process itself, the people who are involved, is it that they need to be trained, they need to be informed, and they need to be educated as to exactly what is expected to follow the guidelines under these global laws?
So, let me answer you just like this. Once I was a part of a session with the Inter-American Court of Human Rights, and the moderator of the program, a very well-respected woman, she was actually saying, like, what the hell is going on in Trinidad and Tobago with respect to human rights? She started off by saying, do the judges understand human rights? That's the question being asked in the International American Court of Human Rights, the ICHR, in one of their sessions. So let's start off with the judges. Are they properly trained in human rights?
Yeah.
And these strides are being taken to ensure that the judiciary has some of the brightest minds with regards to human rights. But that's a good step. Secondly, we speak about TTPS, but I really don't like to, not attack. I can't use myself to constructively criticize because they're being placed in a disadvantageous position. In that, if the Office of the Attorney General doesn't put forward a proper policy in place with regard to these matters, and even the whole immigration department, they do not have a written policy to follow, then how would you expect the TTPS to fulfill the mandate? The TTPS, I would say, they may basically be running around like headless chickens simply because of the lack of direction from the Office of the Attorney General in human rights matters in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, and I agree with you. If something is not enforced, then definitely it's going to be a problem. I want to say hats off to you and your legal team for getting involved and ensuring that the rights of these individuals are simply not trampled on and simply just overlooked. Closing comment, go right ahead. I mean, what is expected? I mean, next week, mass deportation. What's your next step?
No, well, we shall continue here. Just basically, what we wish to do is actually persuade the government to co-produce a model, basically, where in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, we have a legal process to ensure our adherence to to the 1951 Refugee Convention. That's what we are trying to do in the shortest possible time frame, and to save our country from being embarrassed internationally.
All right. Mr. Williams, thank you so much. We'll be checking in with you periodically. And again, hats off and best of luck to you and your entire team.
Thank you. I appreciate the honor of being in the program this evening, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure having you. Have a good one.